and ripped his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. I'm the best ever.
Alright, welcome to the sit down. Before we start today, I want to shout out my boy Kyle Holdsworth. Kyle always promotes the show in his column for the Examiner. We here at the show appreciate that shit, and as soon as we find a sponsor, I will use the money to get Kyle a lap dance at Delilah's. Come on, Philly business owners, your sponsorship fees will be well spent if you advertise on the sit down. Shout out to my boy Justin Haskell too. We need to get you on the show, bro. Alright, joining me today on the sit down, I have Will Martinez, undefeated in Bellator Fighting Championships, and one of his prize pupils, his student at Martinez BJJ, pro debuter Chris Daukaus. How are you, gentlemen?
How are you, sir?
Doing great.
Okay, first let's talk about Martinez BJJ. How's the new school coming?
It's coming along, a lot of work with our new schedule, our open mat on Sunday. Just constant work and training on the mats, man. It's just been a blessing. We're on the avenue, a lot of new walk-in, a lot of new faces. It's been a blessing.
Will, do you have any fights signed yet for the immediate future?
I'm looking at Matrix, September 20th. I've been talking to my manager, Jimmy Benz, about that. And then November, they're definitely trying to get me on a Bellator show. We're not sure where it's going to be, but I will be fighting November for Bellator again. Okay, Will, of course, is a black belt under Carlos Machado. How long did it take you to go from white to black? A little bit over 9 years, and that's pretty much after like my third year of training. That's 5-6 days a week on the mat of just non-stop training.
And your brother, when he was in here, he said that you're actually the one that got the ball rolling with Martinez brothers in terms of MMA. You walked into a school on Front Street, is that right? Wyoming?
Yeah, it was a Taekwondo school. It was owned by a guy named Montero. And a friend of mine actually was coming to the gym, and he had mentioned to me he was doing karate. And I kind of, at the time, I had tried karate and wasn't for me. And then he came in and said something about doing triangles that night. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go check this out. And that was the first class. We did triangles, and I was hooked ever since.
And that was a BJJ class?
That was a BJJ MMA class. The instructor was Lonnie Phillips. That's who I started with. I started with Lonnie Phillips.
Okay. Also, Chris Daukaus, one of my favorite fighters. Chris is a big heavyweight, and he comes out swinging every fight. Chris goes out to destroy, and his speed overwhelms people constantly. Chris, before MMA, did you have any idea you had fast hands?
I didn't realize how fast my hands were until I started, but I mean, I always played other sports. I played lacrosse in college a little bit, but I was always the bigger guy, but everybody was always saying how fast I was for my size.
Before you got into MMA, were you a fighter? Were you fighting a lot in the street and stuff like that?
Not too much, but yeah, I would fight in the street. You know, I had friends who would always start fights, and I'd always have to wind up finishing them.
Alright, speed is a great tool, but you have power as well. You have some fast knockouts on your record. Are your opponents just not watching YouTube or any of your footage and scouting you properly? Because you keep punching people and knocking people the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think that it matters to me. I mean, I'm going to go in there and fight. I mean, it's a fight. You're going to get punched in the face. It's a matter of time. But I guess me, when I touch them, they just go to sleep, so.
Well, they do go to sleep too. What's it like training at Martinez? You got a lot of high-level trainers. You got Zach Makovsky now. Steve McCabe's down there. Your brother's also a monster, and of course you got the Martinez brothers. What's it like training with these really tough guys, all MMA fighters themselves?
It's one of the greatest things that you could have, that you could ever ask for. I mean, they're all top-level guys in the city and the surrounding areas. I mean, Zach Makovsky's one of the top guys. Will's also a top guy. I mean, there's nothing more you could really ask for in a core group of trainers or training partners.
So, Will, take me through this moment. You get your first call from Bellator. Next step, you're in the cage on national TV. Very big amount of pressure. And then you deliver. You tap Terrell Hobbs in the first round with a rear naked choke. What's that feeling like to deliver on the big stage?
It was kind of a weird situation because I was originally supposed to fight Andy Main on my first Bellator show, and Andy Main ended up suffering a rib injury, and Terrell Hobbs actually took the fight on like 13 hours notice. They called me that night before weigh-ins and said, we have a guy for you, he's gonna come down and fight. I didn't know anything about Terrell Hobbs. I saw a video on the way down the weigh-ins, and I say, hey man, I got to fight. This is my school's grand opening thing we were doing to kind of promote the school, and I said I'm gonna fight regardless. I didn't really care who it was. I got in there, I took him down, I slipped up, he mounted, he took my back, and almost finished the fight. I was able to get back on top, and I ended up choking him out. But again, to me, I had my first fight against Al Quintet on the big stage. I fought in Atlantic City for my first pro fight. I actually do not prefer to fight in Atlantic City because I just don't like the whole setup of having to sit in my room and just being there stuffed up. But if they keep calling me, I'm going to keep fighting in Atlantic City for right now.
Cage Fury, was that your first fight?
No, it was Ring of Combat.
So how does that work? You actually sit up in your room until you're called, or you're down there an hour before the event starts? Or?
Man, you know, everybody does it different. Everybody goes on the boardwalk, walks around, stuff like that. I'm just so focused on the fight that when I fight in Philly, you know, I'm here. I'm able to hang out with my kids in my living room. It's just more of a relaxed feeling for me instead of sitting in a hotel room and laying there and watching TV. It's just not my thing. I mean, I've gotten used to it. I've had already 5 fights in Atlantic City and 6 possibly in November. So I'm used to it. It's just not a thing that I like to do.
So 5 months later, you're back in that same cage in front of those same cameras. This time Casey Johnson is staring at you from across the cage. This time you finish the fight in half the time with a rear naked choke at 2 minutes 27 seconds of the first round. At that point, is your confidence sky high with 2 back-to-back finishes on the big stage?
For sure. You know, when I started training at Balance with Ricardo Meglaris, and I started to see my progression from being an average ground guy to a really good guy to someone that's hanging with black belts now. It brought my confidence through the roof. It made me the fighter I was when I was an amateur. The aggressive, you know, I trained hard for every fight, but I'm pretty happy of how my training camps have been going. I've been improving. You know, I've been training with high-level guys that have been helping me. And I'm happy. I'm ready for whatever comes along. You know, I think for that November fight in Bellator, I'm gonna have a really tough test on my hands. I'm not giving out any names yet because I'm not 100% sure, but this fight's gonna be something you cannot miss. This is gonna be a brutal fight.
So your excuse me, your Bellator contract says you can still fight on the local circuit, right?
I only have a 1-fight deal with Bellator at a time. I explained to them my situation with my academy, and I prefer to only fight local shows. Atlantic City, if they were like Connecticut or somewhere in Philadelphia, I would definitely jump on. But my school's growing. I can't be away from my school, and that's my #1 priority.
Okay, dedicated. So finally, we look back at your last fight against Michael Hess. You're already on a high. You got 2 stoppages. This time, you stopped Michael Hess with punches on the ground. Put you at 3-0 with 3 first-round stoppages in Bellator against 3 very tough guys. Where's your confidence at right now, since this is your currently where you stand?
It's progressing. You know, like I said, I train hard every day. I'm really confident right now that the next fight I take, it's a really high-level guy. It's a black belt on the ground. Has, man, a bunch of fights. I've been asked to fight him before, and I've always said I need a full training camp with him. So hopefully we'll get this fight signed, and you know, I can move forward with promoting this fight. It's going to be an exciting fight, and I'm going to come out with the win. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So you guys, I was watching the Bellator fight on TV. You knocked him out on the ground. You caught him with some ground and pound punches. Everyone knows you can knock people out with ground and pound punches, but you can't get as much force as if you're standing. From a short distance, you put this dude to sleep with a couple good punches. So you spar with Chris. Chris spars with you. I want to go into each other's power now. Chris, what's the hardest Will's ever caught you in sparring?
The hardest Will's ever caught me in sparring would have to be body shot. I mean, I could take, you know, shots to the head, no problem, certain body shots, but every once in a while Will catch me with a real solid body shot that, you know, sends me back to the wall, or, you know, asks for a couple seconds to recuperate.
Did he ever catch you with a liver shot?
Oh yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Are liver shots, you guys are fighters, I'm a pussy, I'm a radio guy. When you get hit, with a liver shot? Is it really like your body's chin? It shuts your whole body down?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, all you want to do is just cover up that spot. I mean, it's one of the worst feelings ever, but you know, it wears off about 30 seconds to a minute later.
All right, thank God.
It stops everything, all your mental functions. It's just that's why they call it one of the most painful shots in MMA. I mean, if you dig into that liver, you'll put the guy down easy, and it's just a delayed reaction too, because you'll get hit. And you think you're gonna move forward, and next thing you know, your face is in the mat and you can't breathe, and the pain is excruciating. And again, don't get this mixed up. I do not stand toe to toe with Chris. I'm glad that Chris realizes the type of power he has, and he doesn't take my head off. Let's get that clear. I mean, the guy, when he fights, is the hardest I've ever seen anyone hit. It sounds like explosions in the cage. I think the last guy he fought, he hit him with a right hand and followed up with a tight hook, and I looked at my brother and I said, holy crap, it sounded like an explosion. And again, I can lay into him a little bit more. He's a little bit bigger than I am, and I'm just glad that he understands his power and he doesn't really hurt us little guys. And you know, that's what makes him a great training partner, is that we can push him as hard as he can push us, and you know, he doesn't literally kill any of us. So
has Chris ever caught you?
Yeah, but I play it off like you won't believe. I don't care how hurt I am. You'll never change my facial expression, either to the body or to the head. If I don't go down, you'll never know that I'm hurt, and I'm the same way in a fight. You hit me as hard as you want, and I'll never give you an indication that I'm hurt, no matter how bad it hurts.
I seen Chris rock guys just by like touching gloves to start a fight. What's going on with your career, Chris? Guys are tending to get hurt, or they have other plans or other fights lined up whenever your name is offered to them. What's going on with your upcoming fight on Extreme Cage Combat? Anybody step up to fight you yet?
I actually originally had an opponent scheduled to fight, but apparently he doesn't want to fight me anymore, so I'm actually off that card. We'll be looking to fight sometime in August or September.
Are you in a position right now, if they offer you someone with 10 days notice, do you consider it, or do you I mean, it's your debut, do you not even?
Yeah, it's my debut. I mean, I want to do it right. I don't want to, you know, jump in with somebody who's, you know, 5-2 or some ridiculous record to where I'm 0-0 and I want to be jumping into deep water. I just rather, you know, it's a first pro fight, try and, you know, make my debut against somebody who's also trying to make their pro debut, and then once that fight gets over with, then we'll see where everything goes.
Okay, so eventually you're going to make your debut as soon as someone steps up to fight you. Let's go into your AMI career. Sherdog has you at 3-0 AMI. Your first fight in a cage, you win in 35 seconds via KO from punches. Big surprise. Your next fight, you beat that time and you won in only 26 seconds by TKO from punches. Your final opponent drags you into deep water, per Chris Daukaus time, deep water, and it proves to be your longest fight at 1 minute and 44 of the first round, which you won by, you know, drum roll, punches. So, Chris, to put it bluntly, you fuck people up. Is your strategy when you get into the cage just to try to connect with as many punches as possible? Are you ever even thinking of shooting or anything like that?
I mean, to me, it's the fight starts on the feet. So I mean, I'm gonna put my hands on you, but I mean, for my size, I have a great ground game. I mean, especially with working with Will. I mean, little guys, you have to be faster. I'm a 3-stripe blue belt, trying to get my purple belt. So I mean, it's just a matter of time before I get taken down, especially in the heavyweight division. I mean, there's going to be a lot of, you know, heavyweight wrestlers, you know, collegiate wrestlers I'm going to be facing soon. So I mean, it's not like I prefer, you know, to stand on the feet or whatever. It's just that my skill set, I haven't been able to show off my ground game yet.
Will's here today with a sprained ankle from balling with the Miglerese brothers, or just Rick?
Yeah, it was Rick and Jimmy Benz. I kind of hyped the game up. I was talking a lot of trash. We came out, we were balling like we were 15 years old again, and I went up for a rebound and I fell on Rick's foot and I re-aggravated my ankle. I got it checked out. Thank God it's not broken, but it's a pretty bad sprain. So I should probably be back on the mats in like 15 hours or something like that.
15 hours? Is that what you gave yourself?
Yeah, I don't like taking time off. It's just a sprained ankle. I can deal with it.
So for the benefit of those who don't know, Will and his brother Jesus run one of the largest Actually, one of the best gyms in the tri-state area, Martinez BJJ. Jesus is also a very successful pro MMA fighter with a huge fight coming up for Cage Fury Championships. That's in Atlantic City. He's fighting for a welterweight title against George Sullivan. How do you see that fight going?
I think George is kind of underestimating my brother a little bit. If you go back and you looked at the quality of fighter that my brother has fought and he's lost to, you know, there've been guys with 15, 20 professional fights. He hasn't been fighting, you know, bums. And he's really excited about this fight. I haven't seen him this excited for a fight in a long time. So he's in the gym working game plan for an hour. He's working his strength and conditioning. You know, he's sparring heavy. We're working everything we need to work to make a fight out of this. And I hope George doesn't underestimate him, and this can be, you know, something special. It's going to be something special for my brother and for the school to see him shine at this level. You know, he deserves it. It's about time that he puts everything together and goes out there and just proves that he belongs up there with all those guys.
Do you always corner your brother for his fights?
I've cornered him, but one fight. I do a trip to Texas every year in October. I do a few trips to train with my teacher, and this fight got postponed like 4 times in the span of like 4 months, and it just happened to be that weekend when he fought for Matrix, because the dates got moved around and I already had committed to that, and you know, I had to go, but he came out with the win. Believe me, I talked to him 10 seconds right after he won. He had his phone in his shorts, and he ended up getting the submission win.
So Dana White recently banned Randy Couture from cornering his own son in all UFC fights because of Randy's association with Bellator. Let's say you're getting 10 grand and 10 grand a debut in the UFC. Dana White, for some reason, makes up some kind of issue with your brother Jesus. He says Jesus can't corner you. Do you drop the fight right there?
I'll drop the fight, no questions asked.
Really?
Yep.
And you corner Jesus. Does Jesus corner you as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just been that way since our amateurs, since we were amateurs in 2007, I want to say. We've always cornered each other.
Okay. So Dana can take his 20 grand and blow himself.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of Jesus, when I last interviewed him, he told me he'd love to see your training partner and head coach Ricky Miglioris in a cage. We have the Daukaus brothers, the Martinez brothers, and the Miglioris brothers. Let's talk about Phil for a second. Phil's a 4th degree BJJ black belt under Helson Gracie. He's got 20 plus years of experience in MMA training. How would Phil have done in a cage if he wanted to go that route?
If they want to fight, they'll be really successful. I mean, those guys are studs. Ricardo, he trains with all the pro fighters, and he really wipes the mat with us every single training session. Doesn't matter if you're a 155er or a 205er. That's what I say. If they want to fight, they will be successful, period, at any level. They learn, they adapt, and oh man, it's incredible to see, you know, what they can do. They don't fight because they don't want to fight, you know, but if they were to fight, they'll be up there ranked with all the top 20 in their weight class easily.
Phil's a bad dude. I always miss him at Balance. I'm down there sometimes on Sundays, and Phil's, I guess that's his day off, so I've never actually seen Phil roll live. But Phil's got so many damn awards and accolades. I mean, I seen him on YouTube tapping Babalu. Babalu just retired, but in Babalu's time, Babalu was a bad dude. Babalu worked his way up to a title shot with Chuck Liddell. He was one of the top guys, and Phil beat him. So I would have liked to see Phil in a cage. We're going to take our first break. We got the Martinez BJJ boys. We got Will Martinez. We got Chris Daukaus, knockout artist Chris Daukaus. We'll be right back.
Okay.
A bad wheel too. I just stepped on Will Martinez's foot. For the people that can't see this, I'm real sorry. Welcome back to the Sit Down. Want to talk to you, Will, now about the situation that you had with Semper Fi. You were there for a while. You were doing really well. That's where you were earning your stripes under Carlos Machado. You were training with Julio. Everything was going good. You're no longer there, and the people want to know, what was the downfall with that?
I haven't said anything about this in close to 3 years, but I think it's time people know a little bit of my side. Because every time I talk to someone that's from there, has interactions with them, they always tell me the same thing, that I left because I had a bad attitude, that I was bipolar, that I didn't want to train there anymore, but that's so far from the truth. So let me get a little bit into this, and this will be the last time I'll ever talk about this to anyone, because I think it's time to put it to bed. We became partners at the school when him and his brother had an issue, you know, whatever it was. I wasn't trying to get in between their family stuff. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we had our partnership. I have all the legal documents. I have everything at my house. I've never shown this to anyone. The new business name, the new account. I have our agreement, which we agreed on the payments of the monthly payments to his brother Sammy to buy him out. I have all this stuff. I have it all on paper. I have the contract. Everything's there. So Julio decided to basically say, you know, lie to me for the whole year and tell me what I wanted to hear, and he basically scammed me out of like $40,000.
That was money you invested?
I invested 10 grand cash. That ring that he has in the back of his academy, I did that, or my dad helped build that there. The mats that are in the back of his academy that don't match those mats, I went to Rahway, New Jersey in my van. I picked those mats up. I put them down. I have them there. That office that he sits in every day, guess who built that office? My dad built that office with my money, material money, and I have all this stuff written down. I have receipts. And then again, you know, to give you a heads up of how good of a friend I was, his transmission on his Acura went out, and I loaned this guy a 2009 BMW Z4 to drive around in. You know, that's how much I trusted him. And at the end of the year, we're supposed to start payroll with the new company. You know, we grew a school, and going to the bank account, should have been thousands of dollars in there. There was only $800. So between him and his brother, they basically scammed me out of a whole year's worth of salary, and half of what belonged to me, because we had a limited liability partnership together. No one really knows this. This is the first time I'm really talking out, and they also went behind my back saying that I was trying to solicit all their students. I didn't solicit anyone. Chris is here as proof to that I just left. I was actually going to quit, and these guys, you know, saw me out. And you know, out of that bad thing, I'm blessed because I have students like Chris and Kyle, and anyone that came from Semper Fi that followed me. The other Chris, Kelly, Jesse, Inslow, all those guys that came over have been fantastic training partners, and I love them to death, and I'll do whatever I can to help them make it to the next level. But now you guys know, and the reason I'm so bitter about this whole situation is not the money, is that I had to sell that 2009 Z4 BMW that I had to start the gym that I have now. And that's why I'm bitter, because that car was a phenomenal car. Again, it's just a car, but to me it was, you know, an accomplishment in my life. And
2009 BMW?
Yeah.
Are you married?
Yeah, I was. Well, I am, but
she wasn't happy about that. You can get a lot of women in the 2009
Believe me,
BMW.
she wasn't happy about that. But it is what it is. I had to sell. I started my own school, and the rest is history. And again, this will be the last time I talk about that.
What type of bitterness did you have when you first went through what you went through with Julio? I mean, was there a blowout? Did you guys, I mean, was there anything like physical? Were you guys barking at each other over the phone, or what was the initial blowout when
I confronted him? Well, I confronted our instructor first, Johnny Guerrero. I confronted him. I showed him all the bank statements and you know, everything that he was doing. And he basically chose Julio's side, and he said, no, we got to make this work. How do you make this work when the guy lied and stole so much money, and then you try to sweep it under the rug by trying to ruin my credibility, a guy that hadn't done anything, that just was there to help him build his gym. And it is what it is. The results of it has been that, you know, now we have our gym. You know, we have our gym, we're doing our thing, we're successful, and they're heading in the opposite direction. It's unfortunate, but that's life, you know, it is what it is. But I just want everybody to set the record straight that that's the reason I left Semper Fi, is because, you know, they basically scammed me out of thousands of dollars.
So speaking of the Semper Fi leave, as soon as you realized what went down, basically, did you decide at that moment you were going to start your own gym, or did you have a period where you felt like giving up? Or
no, this happened in December. By January, I said, screw this. I actually contacted my old employer about actually moving away, because I didn't want any part of this. I said, how can I invest so much time in a friend, and then he does something like this? And where I stood a while, like maybe 8 years ago, I was at a Taekwondo school in Frankfurt, and he had called me back and said, hey, do you want to start a program here? And I already had somewhat of a little program there with someone helping, teaching, and I said, you know what, let me try it. And everybody started to come over, man. Chris and Kyle, Chris Kelly, Jesse, and all those guys gradually came over, man, and they encouraged me to do what I did. And then you know, me and my brother sat down and said, yo, we need our own spot, and we opened up on Ryan Avenue just to try it out. And again, after the first year, we outgrew it, and now we're at a new facility on the other side, Cobman 3511, double the space. Bags are going up this week, pull-up bars are going up, TRX bands are going up, and every month we'll gradually make it a little better and better and better.
Yeah, the new gym's beautiful. I gotta ask you though, you were tight with Julio for years. You and Julio go back before this MMA stuff, right?
We ran in the same circles. What's funny, he was from Hunting Park. I grew up recent Cambria, Allegheny. So we ran in the same circles. We knew all the same people, but me and him never actually met growing up until I was at Blue Belt in Jiu-Jitsu, when he first opened up his own academy up on a dance studio on Fox Chase. That's where we met for the first time, and we realized we had a lot of the same friends.
So you guys were friendly before the whole MMA game. Despite everything that happened, do you ever feel like sometimes you want to call him, or you have any type of feelings like, you know, I wish we could hang out for a day and talk about all this or go through it, or is the damage already done?
Nope, don't want to talk, want to fight.
You want to fight?
That's it. I'm being honest, dead honest. This is time people understand how this came about, and time for talking's been over for a long time. Okay.
Let's get into Chris now. Chris, you're a Philly police officer. What made you want to be a cop?
My dad's a cop. You know, just seeing him hanging out all his buddies over the house all the time. You know, just seeing the type of brotherhood that they have. It was just something I was just naturally drawn to. I mean, I was either going to become a cop or join in the military. And I had a recruiter come to my house, and my mom kind of put the stop to that real fast and yelled at the recruiter and told him to get out of the house. So became a cop.
Yeah, it's a tough time to be a soldier.
Yep.
So let's get into, first of all, what district are you in?
I'm in the 25th district.
And that is Broad Street?
Yeah, Broad Street to pretty much G Street and like the Boulevard all the way down to Lehigh, so pretty much where Will grew up at.
Yeah. Okay. You once told me that you were shot at with an AK. What are some of the crazy things that you go through every day trying to be a cop? Well, you are a cop, trying to fight crime.
Just the crazy things are just the crazy stories and the reasons why people call the cops. I mean, it's anything from, you know, people with guns running down the street, or the kids won't listen to them, the kids won't stay inside the house. Like, we had a couple domestic incidents where the kid just wanted to go, like, leave the house and cool down because he was arguing with his mom, but his mom said, no, you got to stay inside your house. And she, you know what, they called us and, hey, listen, tell my kid what to do. But, you know, we're the cops. We don't tell your kids what to do. You're the parent. You should be, you know, telling your kids what to do.
Part of the law, if you're under 18, they have to stay in the house.
All right, is that, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Hey, I don't care.
Did you ever have to use your MMA skills on the job?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Jiu-jitsu actually has saved my life a couple times, but yeah, everything's always been, you know, whatever I've done has always been, you know, documented and all that stuff. So I'm good.
I'm curious though. A lot of times people flip out. They do something stupid. They want to get away. You catch someone with a bundle of dope. They just want to get away. Sometimes someone may get a little brave, try to punch a cop, and then run for their lives. Have people ever physically, you know, someone has that look in their eyes. Has someone ever physically tried to kill you?
I mean, I don't know if they've intended to kill me per se, but they've, you know, tried to fight to get away. I mean, me and my partner have stopped people with, you know, guns, knives, a bunch of drugs on them. But I haven't gone up to a scene where, you know, people have been shooting at other people and, you know, they turn the guns on us. So thankfully for that.
Let's get into some of the stupidity of certain people. Me personally, when I used to, I was a jerk off when I was younger. I used to drive around with no insurance, no license. That was back in the day. Will too. I was back in the day when, you know, the cops would just pull you over and maybe even like yell at you and tell you, get it the fuck out of here. I don't want to see you driving again. In which case, 3 weeks later, the same cops pull you over and they tell you the same thing. Nowadays, they take your shit. They call the tow truck. You get a shitload of tickets and all that. What are some of the worst excuses you've ever gotten from people? Be it driving without a license or someone just trying to get out of running a red light. Everyone's got drama.
Yeah, everybody's got drama, but the dumbest things I've ever heard just because I didn't think I needed a license to drive.
Oh, really?
Now I'm over 16. I can drive the car, right? No, you're not. You gotta get a license to drive, or you know, like my friend's got a license that I can use their license, right? No, you can't do that.
I used to always have. It was always some type of worst case scenario when I would get pulled over for the dumbest shit too. Like you could save your excuses for if you get pulled over. Like my cousin was a bad dude and he always used to have drugs on him and I was stupid. I would always give him rides places and he'd joke around and pull out like a bundle of dope or something like that and I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I could lose my job. This was years and years ago, but some people, like, they just let you have it with the worst case scenario just for blowing a red light. Like, my dad's about to die, that's why I ran the red light or some shit.
Yeah, pretty much. People just try and make up the craziest excuses. I mean, but if 99% of the time, if you're honest, like, yo, listen, I honestly just tried to make the light. I didn't see it. I didn't see you. I'm not gonna get you a ticket. I'm just gonna be like, yo, like, just be aware of your surroundings. I mean, you can cause an accident. You can cause people, you know, to get hurt. Just be careful driving.
So it is your option when you pull people over?
Yes, as a police officer, you have discretion.
I've done it. I've been honest. I turned on the left, and 2 times they appreciate your honesty because I guess they come to the car expecting, you know, for you to lie. And when you're honest, say, hey, I saw the left. I think I can make it, and I'm sorry, and that's the end of it. You know, it's happened to me twice. Once I ran the light. You know, I told them I was just in a rush and I ran the light. I shouldn't have done it, and they let me go. And then the other one, I turned on left when I shouldn't have. And I was honest. I said, I turned on left. Give me the ticket. And he said, you know what? For your honesty, I'm gonna let you go. So it's true. It does work.
Yeah, it does. It definitely freaks the cop out when somebody's totally honest with you because you're always used to people lying to you. But when you come up to the window or something and they're like, yeah, I'm sorry about that, you're just like, all right, well, you know what? You seem like a pretty decent person. I'm not gonna give you a ticket today.
I might have to try that. What do you call it again? Honesty?
Honesty.
Yeah, honesty, yeah.
I'll have to try it next time. Chris, what are some of the dumbest places people hide their guns, drugs, alcohol, all that stupid shit? Is under the seat still the #1 spot?
Yeah, the number under the seat is pretty much the #1 spot. I mean, drugs, depending on how much they have, it'll be on them. But just think of any place you can stuff a small object. That's pretty much where you can find anything. Belly buttons, if they're larger people, they'll stick it under folds in their the butt crack. You know.
I'm gonna get into the smuggling game. Well,
yeah. So
I can hide 3 pounds on me. Have you ever caught anybody with any major weight, a pound and up or something?
Nah, nothing that, but just like racks of dope, up to 70 bags of dope. You know, a couple thousands of dollars on them, but nothing too crazy.
Chris also has a brother, Kyle Daukaus, also a big, hard-hitting heavyweight on the AMI circuit. Well, what are your thoughts on Kyle as a fighter?
I explained to Kyle that he started at a really young age. I think he was like 16 when he started doing mixed martial arts. At 18, we allowed him to fight. But again, he's in a division where he's just being out-muscled. He's not being out-skilled. He's one of the most skilled guys I have overall. His stand-up is phenomenal. We're actually getting him his own Muay Thai class because his stand-up has been really good. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. His grappling is just right now, and just in the division that he's in with the heavyweights, he's just being out-muscled. So I'm gonna go on the record saying when Kyle turns 23, world, be ready, because this kid's gonna be something special. He believes it. You know, don't let his record fool you, because he's been in every fight. It's just he's been caught with simple, submissions. He's been overpowered. He's still a baby. You can't compare a guy that's 19 years old with a guy that's 30.
Right.
We have that old man strength. That's why they say it, because it's true. You know, you fight a 19, 20-year-old, he can go for days, but you know, the older, more experienced fighter is going to be a little bit stronger, more mature, and that's what he's going through right now. He's going through those growing pains. But again, I tell my amateur fighters, you know, when it comes to your amateur record, no one cares. When you're 10-0 as a pro, no one's going to say, wait a minute, he was 1-15 as an amateur. Nobody cares. So, you know, he's taking his lumps like a true champ. His last fight, he went in there, did what we asked him, got the easy takedown. You know, he lost the fight in a scramble just because he just got thrown. Kid ended up paintbrushing him again, but he knew what his mistakes are, and we're working on his strength and conditioning, getting him stronger, because that's the last piece of the puzzle with Kyle. Once he becomes a point where he's strong enough, he's gonna be, man, a devastating fighter. I would hate to be the guy fighting him.
I think you're dead on with that, because he fought a little stocky guy. I don't want to say little. I mean, he wasn't tall, but the guy was like he was a truck.
He held the record for bench pressing at like 500 something pounds, and that's what he did. He bench pressed Kyle. He threw him over. But again, it's amateur. Like, I don't want to say who cares, but again, every fight's a learning experience. You got to get back in the gym and learn, and it is what it is. I know guys that went 10-0 as amateurs and can't win a pro fight.
Right.
You know, they're like 1-4 as pros now, so it is what it is.
Chris, what's the best thing about your brother's MMA game? What stands out the most?
His striking is definitely his best asset, I think. I mean, even when we spar, I mean, it kind of feels like he's a couple steps ahead of me, and then I know I'm knocking people out left and right, but still, once he just gets the confidence and starts letting his hands go in fights, when he touches people, he's going to be more devastating than I could ever wish to be.
Have the Daukaus brothers ever had a fist fight?
Fist fight, like at the house? Yeah, at the house. You know.
Maybe not recently.
Not recently, but growing up, we would always fight. My mom would always get in the middle of it. We'd always scrapping over the last piece of food or something, over the remote or something. But never nothing serious.
What's the age difference between you guys?
I am 23. He is 20, so 3 years difference.
Oh, okay, you're right then. Will, he is going to get a lot stronger, and he's going to be nasty. He's going to be a problem when he goes pro.
Believe me, I have no worries. I tell him, I have no worries. I believe in my guys. I see what their attributes are, and they see it too. When our gym is open now to everyone, because we have a huge amount of space, and when guys come to spar on Saturday from other places that are 3-0 amateurs, these guys are tearing them up. So they believe in the system that we have in place, and I tell Kyle, at the end of the day, don't worry, as amateur, once you turn pro, you will be ready to be a phenomenal professional, and that's what we tell them.
Let's get into family now. Will, you're married with 2 children?
2. I have a boy and a girl.
And you had your little girl a couple months ago, right?
No, she's gonna be 6 in September, and my son is 3.
Any children for you, Chris?
No
married?
Kids. Not married, but with the same girl for about 5 years now.
Oh, okay.
Kelly. So we might as well be married. But yeah,
Is that the plan?
Yeah,
married,
that's
Kelly?
the plan. Yeah, she's I'm a cop. She's finishing up nursing school, so we'll be starting our life together pretty much.
Did you ever have to get tough in front of Kelly? Someone bump you at the movies or something?
Nah, Kelly can handle her own. She once, like, this was like a month after we started dating. She tried fighting a whole house party, and I knew that my hands were full with her. So I knew I needed to start fighting pretty soon.
Okay. In the movie Rocky, Sly kisses his baby before he goes to the arena to fight. Well, you said you have fights in Atlantic City. Do you get to hang with your children? Is it pretty much like the Rocky movie? Do you kiss your kids and then leave for Atlantic City, or do they go with you when you take these fights?
I think You know, I think my daughter was one of the big reasons why I turned my career around. When I fought Neil Johnson, I was coming off a couple close losses, just mistakes against some tough guys. And I'm sitting there, and she's like 2 years old, and she looks at me and she says, "Daddy, good luck, here's this sticker." And I fought with that sticker ever since, and I've been undefeated ever since.
What do? You keep it in your shorts or something?
It's a little sticker she put inside of my Daukaus shorts, and it's ripped up, but I have a piece of that every time I fight, and every time before I go in the ring, she just wishes me the best of luck, and I'll fight to the end, not to disappoint her or my son. And they both call me and say good luck. It's the best feeling in the world.
Does she know? Does she know the type of fighting you're in? It's not boxing we're talking
yeah,
about.
she's a smart girl. She sits there and watches the UFC with me, and she says, "Daddy, when's your next fight? I want to go." And when I fought Casey Johnson, I was actually going to take her down with me to see the fight. And then I got really nervous because it's a fight, anything can happen, and I don't want to have my child see me knocked unconscious and pulled out on a stretcher. Is it going to happen? Possibility? No, but it may. And you know, the last thing I want is my daughter to see me on a stretcher being pulled out of the ring and having to go to the hospital for any reason. And I decided to leave her home, and I told her I'll show her the video when I get home.
And that was you knocking out Casey Johnson? You
choking
choked out
Casey Johnson out.
So what's it like when you got a black eye around your baby girl?
She loves it.
Does she really?
Yeah, she does jiu-jitsu now. She's been doing jiu-jitsu since she was 3. And she knows what the fight game is. Believe me, we sit in the living room, and I'll tell her, "Hey, you want to go train?" And she'll say, "Yeah, let's train." Or we're in the gym, and you know, one of the kids starts telling her, mouthing off, and she's like, "What? Whatever, let's do it, let's fight." And they'll train. I mean, even though it's jiu-jitsu, but she understands the level of competition that it is, that daddy's just not out there fighting everyone, that it is a sport, and she loves to see me compete jiu-jitsu. That's one of the reasons why I still compete.
These kids are going to have some pressure on them because if you're born a Gracie, I mean, I don't care if you're like Spanky Gracie and you're not really into jiu-jitsu, you have to at least get your black belt. You're a fucking Gracie. So being a Martinez now, with Martinez, BJJ, and even the Daukaus kids whenever they come, like you guys, these kids, I hope you're listening, you're going to have a lot of pressure, man. I mean, if your dad is Will or Jesus Martinez, like you're going to have to, even if you don't step into a cage, you're gonna have to at least be the toughest kid in class.
And she's going to be.
When you sign these fights in the contract, technically there's a clause that says you're signing your life away. If you die in that cage, they can't be held responsible. Is that right?
No, they actually, the day after weigh-ins that morning, you go back, you check in. They actually have a life insurance policy on you, and you have to put down who you would want to receive that life insurance policy for you. I think is actually required by state law that they do that. All the bigger shows do that. So Bellator, every fight's the same. I go fill out my life insurance policy. You know, I leave it to my kids, and then I go fight. If something happens and I die, you know, I have life insurance myself through the gym, through my own personal, and through the fight. So if I get punched and for whatever reason I die, you know, they're going to be taken care of. You know?
Hopefully that never happens. But you're in a tough game. Your father helps out a lot. We want to shout him out because I know your father helps out a lot with his carpenter skills. Jesus told me he built the whole gym.
Yeah, he did. He went from top to bottom. While I was still teaching, he was in there painting, redoing the electrical system. He put cameras in. He made the new subfloor. He put in the new shower. He laid the towels in the back. Him and my mom. I mean, this is what we did growing up. We did carpentry work. You know, I've been carrying sheetrock around since I was 8 years old. That's probably why I don't like it so much. But you know, he built the first gym. He did the second gym, and without him, we wouldn't have the gym that we have now. So big shout outs to him and my mom.
Okay, so we're going to take our second break. We'll be right back with the Martinez BJJ boys.
penthouse atop Center City's largest skyscraper. Or, better yet, live from a converted tool shed in Levittown, Pennsylvania. It's Sit Down Radio with your host, Mike Bicky.
We're back with the Sit Down. Chris Daukaus, you're kind of in a jam because you have a incredible amateur record. I think you have like 2.5 minutes of combined time in your Ami fights. Yeah. You're knocking everybody out. Nobody wants to fight you. They're offering you guys with a ton of experience. 3 and 5 guys, is that what you said?
Yeah, 3 and 5 guys, and guys 5 and 2. So I mean, it's definitely a step up in competition. But I don't think I'm ready for that yet. I mean, some people say just because of my record I should be ready for that, but that was just amateur. It is 5-minute round, 3 5-minute rounds. It's a whole different ball game now.
And you deserve that growth as fighters. You deserve. Just from stepping into the cage, you deserve to fight guys that are comparable to you and comparable to your skill level. It's not your fault that you're being put out there as the next big thing. So if you're 0-0, why shouldn't you fight a guy that's 1-0, 0-1, something along those times?
Yeah, what ends up happening, man, even his first amateur fight was a long wait.
I think it was like 9 months or something.
Yeah,
waiting to get
and now the same thing with the pro fight. Once Chris has 2 fights, 3, we'll fight just about anyone. But these things need to be done the right way for your fighters to be successful. A lot of these gyms, 2 and 5, you can beat them, and then a mishap happens where he runs into the right hand. Fighting, the better fighter doesn't always win, and then you destroy his confidence, and he's just never the same. So, if he loses to an 0-0 guy, fine, go back to the drawing board. But we just want everything to be on the same plane for his first fight. Everything has to be the same, and the ones after that, we'll start getting them the good fights.
Well, give me one guy outside of Martinez, BJJ, someone you're not affiliated with, that you'd like to work with, someone that you think is got UFC caliber talent. We got a lot of good guys.
I know, this is kind of difficult right now because I cross-train so much. I train, I don't like to name drop ever, but I'll go on and just give you some of the guys that I've trained with. Wilson Reese, Daniel Tavares helped me for my second to last fight.
He's great.
Alexander Bariza is the first guy I've ever trained with that I've actually fought, and he's phenomenal. He fights on Bellator. Rick Meglaris, who else? Zach's on the team now. Steve McCabe, Chris, Matt Rizzo's been up to the gym recently.
You're doing what they do at Balance on Sundays in the Northeast on Saturday.
Yes, but unfortunately, at Balance there's a lot of the bigger guys, which is not a bad thing. But now at my gym is a lot of smaller guys, so it's kind of weird the way it's breaking up right now. But we've been getting some guys in there for Chris. Again, I've trained with Eddie Alvarez, Chris Longori, who's MMA. Let's just put it like this: if I wanted to train with someone right now, a lot more would probably be like a Frankie Edgar. Someone like that. Again, I cross-train so much. I train with so many different fighters right now, but I would like to put it out there for someone that I haven't really trained with like that. It would be like a Frankie Edgar. I would love to spend more time with him on the mat and learn from him,
I want to shout out Matt too. Matt did an interview with us last week, and he comes from a great camp. Anthony's an awesome coach. Revolution Academy. He's somebody with a real bright future. He's only got one loss in the pro ranks, and it was a knee, and I would bet my next mortgage payment if they restart the bell, that wouldn't be the case. So Matt's got a very bright future. We're going to start our call-out clock now. Take as much time as you need. We used to do 30 seconds. Fuck that. It is an open call-out clock now. Will, anyone you'd like to call out?
I would like to call out some heavyweights for Chris Daukaus. Anyone that's looking to turn pro, please, let's make this fight happen. Let's get together and get this man a fight. He's been waiting already 3 months. Now we're trying to get him in on August, and let's see if we can make this fight happen. We just want to get this guy a fight.
Yeah, I really don't care. I just want to fight. That's the whole reason why I got into the sport, was to fight and just to get my name out there. I just want to fight. People have been turning down fights for me ever since I was, amateur. So it's nothing new to me. But I figured, being a pro, you sign a contract, you're supposed to honor it. You're supposed to, you can't call your manager up, like a week later, be like, I'm good. I don't want to fight him anymore. So, it's getting old.
Do you think people are signing to fight you and then Googling you afterwards? You're supposed to Google first.
Yeah, you're supposed to Google first before you sign anything, but I don't know. I think it's just, I honestly don't know what it is. I mean,
I think I know what it is. You know what I mean?
No, it's just what ends up happening is guys make decisions fast. They'll get a phone call and be like, hey, do you want to fight? Yeah, I want to fight. And then other things happen like, wait a minute, this guy's 4-0. He's knocked everybody out. He hasn't been taken down. And we prepare for all this stuff. It's just, this is just the way his path has gone. We're not arrogant. I mean, come on, for crying out loud. This kid trains his butt off. But then that ends up happening, and they get jitters, and they say, maybe not right now for my first pro fight, and then it's over, and then they're out of the fight, or they'll get hurt. It's just the way it is, you know what I mean?
Well, now we're going to do a play around of chillax, tap, or pimp slap.
And now it's time for chillax, tap, or pimp slap. Chillax, meaning you can hang out with anybody in history. Tap, meaning you apply an incredibly painful submission until you feel like letting go. And pimp slap, meaning, well, a good old 70s fly guy Dolomite pimp slap square in their fucking face.
Alright, I guess I'll start. Going up to TriStar in August, so I guess the person I like to hang out with, I guess, be George St. Pierre and some of the guys out there.
Tap.
My brother.
Do you tap him frequently? You could be honest.
No
he's not listening.
We kind of go at each other hard, but it's in all fun. I mean, yeah, of course, I'm the black belt. I choke him out all the time.
Did you ever tap the animal?
Hell no.
Nobody taps the animal?
My question is then.
Yeah,
I bet you Phil taps the animal.
I can't even get past his one arm, let alone control him enough to even attempt a submission.
I had the privilege of him putting me in a Peruvian necktie once. I just asked him to demonstrate it.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing hold. It literally just stops your breathing.
Yeah, well, he's big as it is. He's got lunch boxes for hands. He gets around anything. You're not getting it back until he decides to let it go.
It's just awesome to know that people can do this shit, because if you don't follow BJJ, you have no clue the type of positions you can be put in by these guys. And it don't matter how tough or whatever you think you are, or how manly you think you are. There's guys that can bend your arm on a certain angle and have you crying in front of 5 girls in the mall or something like that.
And he makes it look so easy.
Yeah, he does.
That's the difference. It's just the guy makes it look so easy. Again, Ricardo. That's why they call him the animal.
He's a bad
phenomenal.
dude.
Yes, he is.
Bad dude.
Who do you want to pimp slap, Chris?
Do I want to pimp slap? Alright. Yeah. Nah. I mean, I'm not really, an angry type of guy, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm not gonna call anybody out, but nah, I'm good with that.
How about you, Will?
I guess everybody knows. There's no secret. I've been asking every promoter to make this fight happen. I'm not gonna say his name, but come on, he's from Semper Fi. Everybody knows. I'll fight at 45. I'll pimp slap the shit out of him. But I only do it in the cage. That's it.
In the cage. What happens to you guys if you fight outside the cage?
As what? Just us as
any repercussions because you guys are pro fighters?
You break your hand, you don't get paid.
Yeah, you break your hand, you don't get paid. You gotta train it for a while.
Okay, so it ain't like I think.
I don't think you get yelled
at.
Man,
to get me to fight outside the cage, man, you really gotta push hard. You gotta attack one of my kids, or I'm just in that level where it just doesn't. It's just, why would you do that, But yeah, I'll fight anybody in the cage.
Well, I want to thank Will and Chris for stopping by. If you want to train with these monsters, go to Martinez BJJ. That's located right at 3511 Cottman Ave. That's right at Frankfurt and Cottman. Even if you're not driving, you can catch the 66 right there. Or you can call them at 215-613-8360, or check out their website at www.martinezbjj.com. Chris probably won't be in the cage because nobody wants to fight Chris on July 26th. If he does find an opponent, it'll be at Extreme Cage Combat. If not this event, then hopefully next event someone will step up and fight Chris. Chris has 2 minutes and 45 seconds of combined cage time. I looked that up, so that's a real statistic. Actually, I forgot your first fight where you beat the dude with the rear naked.
Oh yeah, with the rear naked choke, yeah.
So I'm sorry, I gotta add that in. They may push you over 3 minutes, Chris.
Don't worry about it.
If Chris can find an opponent, Ryan Kerwin will be the man to make it happen. He's the promoter, and if anybody can make it happen, it's going to be Ryan Kerwin. Ryan's a hustler and a dedicated promoter. But thanks for coming in, gentlemen. Anything you want to plug? Anything new at Martinez?
Again, our school, we're open to anyone. We have a phenomenal fighter training class on Wednesday. Again, everyone comes in. We just try to break down positions, get some good training in. And the school, Martinez Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, come check it out. We have a lot of stuff going on that we can benefit amateurs and pros right now. So again, I think you plug the address, 3511 Cotman Avenue. You can email us or you can call at any time. We'll definitely help you get to the next level.
Cool. All right, 2 lessons today. Number 1, if you want to improve your MMA, go to Martinez, learn off the best, the Martinez brothers. Lesson number 2, get Chris Daukaus down to the ground as soon as possible, or he will punch you in your fucking face.
Even then, you won't be safe.
Even then, you won't be safe. He's a blue belt.
Yeah.
All right, people, we'll see you next week.